Hello everyone, and before we officially start this video, I'd like to give my deepest apologies to everyone who has been waiting, begging, crying for another video of this series. I do apologize because there's been some setbacks with technical difficulties with the editing app I usually use, which is CapCut, but CapCut PC on the computer. It's been a lot of technical issues, and honestly, if I'm being real, it's probably one of the most annoyingest ones. I did post about it in the communities if you guys like to know a little more details about it. But without further ado, let's officially get into the story and let me know what you guys think of the new intro, please, in the comments down below. Thanks! Hello everyone! So I know it's been like a gajillion years since I've read this fanfic, and I do apologize. But you know what? We're gonna get straight into it, guys. But today we are finally reading His Infatuations Slasher's Ex-Listener Book 3. So for everybody's sanities, including mine, I reread chapter 19 and made a little small recap version of it so we can all live peacefully our lives and get through this quickly. This is the recap. Jason and Mikael had an argument about protecting YN and how Mikael was better off taking her since he didn't trust Jason. And Jason being Jason, he refused, making YN stressed and yell, ending the fight with a potential deal with Mikael about giving him a goodbye kiss. Basically at the edge of Jason's territory before he leaves and leaves him alone. That is the deal that she potentially has with Mikael. Will it succeed? We will find out soon. But before we find out, it's the warnings. So the warnings wrapping around this particular video are quite simple and thankfully not as bad as most. There will be mentions of violence, trauma, stalking, fighting, and just YN's health, mental health breaking down slowly but surely. You will understand the more we get into the story, but just so y'all are warned, it's about to get a little crazy up in here, but not too crazy. But anyway, without further ado, you have been warned. We are now in chapter 20, Obsessive Flashback. Mikael stiffly stood still, frustration fueling his thoughts as he debated whether or not to actually agree to your demand. On one hand, he was delighted by the hand-holding and would love to kiss you again. But on the other hand, leaving you alone here with Voorhees was a terrible idea to him, though for some strange reason, he just couldn't say no to you. It was infuriating. So what was he to do? Glaring at the other killer venomously, Mikael's stubbornness slowly subsided, the stalker glancing into your gorgeous colored eyes for a second or two later and realizing that he couldn't just deny your request, no matter how aggravating Voorhees truly was. So, despite his possessive personality and overwhelming obsession, he begrudgingly lowered his head a little bit, complying with what you wanted whilst also ignoring Jason. Besides, he could just focus on his one and only instead, and that was you. He was infatuated with you, not only because of your lovely hair, your beautiful expressions, and kind-hearted thoughts, but also because of how different you were to them. You empathized with each one of them, yet you didn't think the same way as them. At first, it was nothing but total bewilderment. Nothing more than sheer curiosity that sparked from his boredom after he'd finally lost interest in killing off Lori. But the way you saw things, the way you reacted, the way you behaved, It threw him off instantly. Of course, there was your out of this world beauty and attractiveness, but the other killers noticed that too, which definitely proved to be difficult for him. Still, though, he simply couldn't stop thinking about his previous encounters with you. And then these are all his previous encounters. It's from first, second, third book. It's crazy. She has a lot of chemistry with Miguel, though. Probably most other. I'd probably say she has the most chemistry with Miguel than the other slashers, but I mean, there's some slasher that has some chemistry with her, like Freddy, but I don't think I would really agree with that. Like I probably would agree more with Freddy than Miguel, but at the same time, like she has like a little like bag of sugar for both of them. Anyway, Miguel, you timidly called, trying to catch his attention and therefore snap him out of his spaced out state. Are you alright? Is everything okay? The aggravated male stared the other killer down unfeelingly, hate flowing from his gaze before he glanced away a few seconds after and silently agreed. Yay! Walk around the lake with YN! Jason excitedly exclaimed, clapping his hands together like a child would and exaggerating your stay exponentially. Hey, now just wait just a minute, he interrupted firmly, stopping the Camp Crystal Lake killer from causing the other stalker to grow even more jealous. I promised Miguel a proper goodbye, instead of just sending him off like a puppy. That wouldn't be fair, nor would it be very nice. I suppose not, Jason grumbled selfishly, clenching his fist as his eyes flickered to the ground. But you'd better come and walk with me. I will. I pinky promise, okay? You loyally vowed, holding your pinky finger out to him and urging him to curl his around yours. You promise? He double-checked with a stern tone, Pinky promising and agreeing in return. Uh-huh. You told Jason with endearment, giving him a quick hug before spinning back around to Miguel and entwining his hand in yours a second time. I promise. So, be ready for it, okay? But, although you said that first, Miguel was way more prepared. The silent slasher wrapping his other arm around your waist and pulling you lovingly closer. A secret smile spread across your face as you softly shook your head, using your other hand to pleasantly push his pale mask up and move yourself nearer. Then, you pressed your lips sweetly against Miguel's, and so your eyes fluttered shut in the process. Of course, Jason grew jealous, due to the romantic embrace, but there was nothing you could really do about that. Knowing this was the only way you could send Miguel back to Camp Crystal Lake's proper entrance. You definitely enjoyed it, though, mostly because of the hand-holding and his arm around your waist. So, in the end, the kiss with the soft-spoken male all worked out. Chapter 21. Visiting the Lake. Minutes slipped by like mere seconds, your intimacy twisting into more and more lust, while your left hand grasped his shoulder instead of his fingers, your right hand still holding up his mask so you could continue kissing him. Miguel's gaze glowed with love, the stalker, without a doubt, overjoyed by your decision. You finished it off with a cute kiss on the cheek, giving him a gentle cuddle straight afterwards and moving backwards. Aggravated, Miguel greedily gripped your wrist, wanting just a little bit more time with you. However, you just wanted to spend just a little bit of time with Jason around the lake. So, you had to shoot him a stern look before pulling away and ordering him to leave. Sending the Crystal Lake killer another cold glare, Miguel narrowed his eyes and turned around, the stalker clearly not happy. Though, as soon as the silent slasher had left for the main entrance, Jason's eyes brightened, the child-minded killer bringing you into a bear-like cuddle and spinning you around like the last time you'd visited. Walk around the lake with YN! Jason joyfully breathed, swinging you round and round multiple times while also acting adorable. Can't wait, let's go already. All right. We can carry on with our walk around the lake. You replied with a light laugh, holding his right hand before heading back onto the trail. But if you keep spinning me around, we won't have enough time to explore the camp's path. And neither of us want that now, do we? Yeah, neither of us want that, he responded cheerfully, following your lead and letting you guide him back towards the lake's stunning shades of blue. So let's go. Let's go walk around the lake with YN. So, even though you felt slightly guilty about ordering Mikal away, you relaxed all of a sudden. The two of you walking throughout the rest of Camp Crystal Lake in its enchantingly scenic spots. It was a lovely location to gaze upon. Jason proudly showing you each and every single place he could think of. Time ticked by, but you didn't mind, deciding to just spend said time with the child mind of the killer instead. The late afternoon soon trickled into the early evening, your time around the lake being almost up as you enjoyed walking with him. But when you attempted to say goodbye, Jason lost his temper like a little kid would, behaving as though you just attacked him and shouting at you like he had with Mikael. It was like he never wanted you to leave. But then, and then she remembered the way, the same thing basically. She's going to do the same thing that she did with Mikael. I have to go now, Jason. You spoke with a sad smile, curling your arms around him and bringing him into a caring hold of your own. I promised, Mikael. You're not being fair here. But it's just not fair, Jason growled angrily, wrapping his arms around you in return and resting his head on top of yours. Being apart from you, I know. You consoled him in a sympathetic tone of voice, picking up on just how lonely he seemed to feel and just how much he seemed to rely on your visits. I can see how much it hurts. It hurts me too, but I'll be right back here on Thursday. I promise. I can't bear it, he furiously complained, sounding even more irritated by your words. Being apart from you for so long, it hurts. I just can't let that go. I need you, YN. With a resourceful sigh, you shut your eyes and kept on hugging him, sensing the jealousy bubbling between Jason, Mikael, and the others. It wasn't just the original five, but it was also between Pennywise, Billy, and Stu. Anybody else that you happened to get all buddy-buddy with. Hannibal promised you freedom, but for some reason, it felt like your freedom kept being ripped away from you, bit by bit. Probably because it is. Whatever. You were getting a new phone and being able to visit your mother soon again anyway. What was the problem? You just had to be strong. That was all. You just had to be assertive. All you had to do now was comfort Jason and cheer him up somehow. It was only Tuesday, so that meant that it wasn't goodbye forever. But how could you calm Jason down? He was as stubborn as Freddy when it came to dealing with you. Honestly, it was like those two had a war in the past or something. It's not goodbye forever, you know, you pointed out kindly and trying to keep things from spiraling out of control like usual. It's just goodbye until next time. That's all. It's only a couple of days until Thursday. Just 48 hours. I'm pretty sure someone as strong as you can handle it. Right, Jason? Come on. I mean, the stubborn slasher huffed with annoyance, not wanting his pride or respect to be obliterated. It's not like I can't handle it. I'll be right back before you know it then. You'll see, you happily remarked, giving him a gentle kiss on the cheek before breaking the embrace entirely. At least have a little trust in me, Jason. I do. It's just the others I don't trust. The Crystal Lake killer awkwardly mumbled, glaring at the ground with embarrassment and rage. You don't trust them? You quoted curiously, frowning from confusion and not understanding. I know you don't all get along, but still, the others haven't trespassed. The only one to come after me was Mikael. The others haven't really. They upset you, Jason darkly brought up again, reminding you of why Mikhail had broken the rules in the first place. Myers wouldn't leave until you got to him. He broke the rules. Until you got him to. Okay, I get your point, you dryly commented, realizing what he was getting at and remembering what made you snap after your university classes. I see what you're getting at, really, but I think I can handle the others, even if they're a little unpredictable at times. You sure you'll be okay? He worriedly clarified, gripping his pocket knife and struggling to hold on to through the tears that pricked at the edge of his eyes. I'm sure. Flashing another warm smile at him, your heart melted, finding his concern to be massively cute. I'll be back before you know it. Fine, just come back, please. Jason grumbled sourly, relenting to your response and giving in. I give you my word. So, would you mind walking me back to the camp's entrance, like a proper gentleman would? You angelically remarked, fluttering your eyelashes at him and attempting to appear innocent. The sulking slasher brightened up immediately, now looking tremendously happy at your request and nodding eagerly. So, the psychotic male grabbed your hand in his and walked right by your side, wanting to stay as close as humanly possible to you while he guided you through Camp Crystal Lake and forgot about his previous agitation. Yep, same old Jason. He really did just act like a desperate little kid. And so did Mikhail when you actually thought about it. But in the end, you didn't need to think about it. Right now, all you had to do was keep Jason from losing his temper a second time, stop Mikhail from striking up another fight, and making sure that the rest of the slashers didn't provoke each other on purpose for the rest of the evening. Was that even possible, however? Would you be able to pacify their usual conflicting personalities? Only time would be able to tell you. After all, it's not like you were a mind reader or anything. Chapter 22. Surprise visit? YN, you're finally back! A familiar voice cheered happily, snapping you out of your thoughts and causing you to turn to jump a little. Alright, you agreed to date somebody else too. Billy. Welcome back, YN. Stu greeted straight afterwards, his pleasant tone and calm attitude making you feel slightly less awkward. You were about to greet them back, but you suddenly got pulled into an overly possessive bear hug, a soft-hearted smile spreading across your face when you responded to the person responsible. Mikhail. It's nice to see you too. Mikhail, I missed you, you kindly commented, wrapping your arms around his body in return before looking at the others. How has everyone been? Everything okay? They're fine. Jason cut in coldly, flashing the other three slashers a glare before tugging you away from Mikhail. See? They've just been standing here, waiting for you, this entire time. Hey, you don't speak for us. Stu sharply snapped back, gritting his teeth while he took a step forwards. So back the fuck off, mate. Guys, please. You sighed with an embarrassed expression, not wanting the four slashers to start a fight over your casual inquiry. It was a simple question. There's no need for this. Besides, we all know about you, Voorhees. Billy insulted him spitefully, smirking at the Crystal Lake killer and taking Stu's side. After all, we're not the ones who injured Ryan's friends now, are we? We're not the ones who caused them to remain in the hospital for a certain amount of time and therefore hurt Ryan. They trespassed. Jason angrily retaliated, shoving Billy to the ground and growing furious once again. So shut up. Just ignore them. I do. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Mikhail wrote down comfortingly, passing his notepad over to you as soon as possible and making you feel somewhat better. I'm feeling fine, so there's no need to worry about me. You responded tenderly, appreciating the fact that Mikhail was thinking about you right off the bat and trying to calm you down no matter what. Jeez, you're such a jerk. Billy bursted out in frustration, losing the last bit of his composure and beginning to twitch, always ruining everything. Don't you realize how Ryan visiting you today could have possibly ruined... Billy, That's enough. Stu soothed his friend gently, placing his hand on the other male's shoulder and sending him a calming smile. We still have time, remember? That's why we agreed to come here in the first place, for YN, right? For YN. Billy moodily muttered, his voice dripping with dislike whilst he carried on staring at Jason with the utmost of hate. You've been waiting this entire time with Mikael? Whatever for? You asked blankly, your eyes widening with surprise as confusion clouded your face and forced you to become unbelievably bewildered. Well, we have a surprise for you, Stu adoringly told you, clasping one of your hands between both of his and giving it a light squeeze. Me and Billy. We thought it might give you a bit of a breather. A surprise? Really? You echoed gleefully, gratitude washing throughout your gaze and making you feel extremely excited. Thank you so much. That's just so sweet of you guys. Oh, I can't wait. Is it far from here? What does it look like? Oh, wait, it's a surprise. That means you can't tell me now, does it? Doesn't it? Your soft-hearted enthusiasm calmed the frustrated slasher right down. Him and Stu both sharing a look of amusement as the two of them showed you a very loving smile. You're far too cute sometimes, Billy teased mischievously, hugging you from the side and causing your cheeks to flush a faint pink. But you're right, it's a secret. It wouldn't be a surprise if we told you, Stu playfully commented, moving back and pressing his forefinger against his lips as a sign of secrecy. True, you giggled, muffling your laughter before turning around to face Jason real fast. Remember what I said. I'll be back before you know it. Okay? Love you. This surprise better not hurt her. Got it? Jason warned them defensively, narrowing his eyes while sounding insanely unstable. Understood. Billy answered sternly, replying for Billy as well, due to the fact that Jason's warning had caused Billy to almost explode once again. Worried, you glanced towards Mikael, praying that he wasn't annoyed also. But the silent male merely nodded shortly, behaving just as stern as Stu had. Hey, I'm sure the surprise will be just fine, he nervously argued, looking back at Billy and Stu for the slightest bit of backup or support. Won't it? Of course it will. You have our word. Billy and Stu promised in unison, their tone of voices flowing with warmth once they joined your side instead of glaring at Jason and picking a fight. Love you too. Jason quietly spoke back, resenting the others as he engulfed you in yet another anxious cuddle. Be safe, then, okay? I will. Take care, Jason. After saying goodbye politely, you picked up your bag that you left by the sign and slung it carefully over your shoulder, waving at the Crystal Lake Killer a few seconds later and walking through the woods with everyone else. So is this surprise a far walk? Am I allowed to know? You casually wondered, grasping the strap of your backpack with one hand before holding Mikael's hand with the other. Billy and Stu weren't too happy with the hand holding, but it kept the mute male from losing his temper, so whatever. I suppose you're allowed to know, Stu chuckled, finding your request to be rather funny in the end. What do you think, Billy? I guess. Billy hummed devilishly, staying next to your side like glue as Mikael stuck to the opposite side of you. Guess the three of them wanting to be this close to you couldn't be helped. It's not that far. I'd say around 5 to 10 minutes at most. Really? You stammered with a shocked face, stunned by Billy's answer and therefore quickening your pace. That close? What, you thought we forced you to go on a journey or drive or something? Stu devilishly grinned, nudging the same side of you that Billy was walking next to and sticking his tongue out immediately after his lighthearted joke. No, that's not at all. All I meant was, we know, cutie. Billy cooed flirtatiously, your surprise increasing by the minute after you'd left the woods surrounding Camp Crystal Lake and divided from your usual path back to the slasher's house by the outskirts of the city. I don't understand. What's my surprise doing in the middle of the city? You questioned with a puzzled frown, curiosity swirling around your eyes while your bemusement grew stronger. Is it like ice like is it like ice cream in the park? Well, that would be nice. I'm afraid not, Ryan. Chuckling a second time, Stu shook his head and continued grinning, crossing the street with the three of you, with, with you three, before raising his finger at one house in particular. Our surprise is hopefully better than ice cream in the park. Looking at the house his finger was pointing towards, your shock rocketed through the roof. A loud gasp slipping through your lips whilst your body froze and you couldn't move. No, there was no way. Were they having a laugh? Were they making fun of you? This couldn't be true. This couldn't be right. Could it? Chapter 23. Stressful Snap. Mom? You gasped in absolute amazement, stunned when Billy knocked at the front door and your mother opened it with a strained, yet loving smile. Are you okay? I should be asking you that, she mentioned with amusement, joyful tears pricking at her eyes after you dropped your backpack and flung your arms around her body happily. Why me? You asked her blankly, not understanding her comment as you carried on cuddling her. You're the one who almost got killed because of me. No, I almost got killed because I didn't believe you at first. This was my fault. I'm I'm sorry about that. Your mother apologized with a saddened smile, wrapping her arms around your body in return and hugging you closer. Don't you dare say that this was your fault. You fiercely bursted out, guilt washing over your veins whilst you enjoyed the emotional embrace. This was because I behaved recklessly and didn't think things through beforehand. Oh, Ryan, you were so brave then. She praised you with an appreciative attitude, resting her head on top of yours and acting unbelievably grateful. I couldn't thank you enough. The gratitude I felt, the guilt I felt, the overwhelming pain I felt. It was so hard to bear, and all of a sudden, she released a shrill scream, stepping a foot or two away backwards before clutching at her chest and sobbing. Mom, what's wrong? You stammered with a frightened tone, entering your mother entering your house's hallway and panicking at her scared state. Did I say something that bothered you? What in God's name is he doing here? Your mother cried in horror, raising one hand to point at Miguel and behaving even more hysterical. Well, you see, he's kind of, sort of, follows me around. You helplessly attempted to explain, fear flooding through your veins when Mikhail took offense to her dislike and held out his knife. You know, like a personal bodyguard or something. He's not a threat or anything, though, I swear. He tried to murder me. She shrieked shakily, trembling from past trauma and forcing you to think back to what had caused this in the first place. Basically, Mikhail, choked her because apparently she was taking too much time making her decision, because the original 4 or 5 of the slashers in the very beginning of the story basically threatened, blackmailed us either moving in with them or killing everyone she cared about. Yeah, it was intense. It was holy. I know, but and if it wasn't for these two, I wouldn't even know that you were still alive. Your mother wept miserably, your eyes widening when Billy and Sue entered the hallway with amused smiles. Wait, what? Curiosity flickered across your gaze, your arm curling around your mother's waist before you led her into the living room comfortingly. Just what are you talking about? How did you know about my well-being exactly? Your new friends. She stammered through her current sobs. They told me, about how your psychology classes were going, how you still hung out with Amber, Laura, and Cadence, and how you made friends with Rose, too. Wasn't she the girl you always used to copy notes from? Oh, yeah, you replied in slight surprise. Confusion rushed spreading through your mind while you thought back to her words beforehand. Your new friends? Who was she talking about? You hadn't made any new friends, had you? Wait, was somebody else keeping tabs on you? What the hell was just going on here? Come on, YN. Surely it's not that hard to figure out. Stu devilishly chuckled, coming to your aid and holding one of your hands in his as a means of comfort. Yeah, there's no need to be embarrassed about it, though. Billy added with a devious grin, hugging you from behind and wrapping his arms around your body. Although, acting shy about being best friends with us is really cute, you know? Whoa, now wait just a second. You weakly protested, sensing how irritated Miguel was growing and becoming massively nervous. Let's just all take it easy for a moment. Easy? Your mother yelled in alarm, shoving herself away from you and moving further backwards into the living room, clutching at either side of her head with a terrified expression. There's a wanted serial killer in the middle of our living room. How the fuck am I supposed to take it easy, YN? Because I can explain, you pleaded unhappily, placing both of your hands on her shoulders and making her sit down on a living room sofa. Really, I can. You just have to trust me. It's not you I don't trust, YN. She wearily whimpered, scared tears continuing to streak down her face while she stared at Mikao with nothing but imbalanced dread. It's him. He's here to finish me off and take you away again. No, he's really not, you soothingly disagreed, shooting Mikhail a stern glare, as if to say, look at what you've done. He's just overly protective of me, that's all. He follows me everywhere. He's obsessed. Over my safety, my well-being, my protection, everything, really. But he's not here to end your life. I promise. Really? Your mother whispered after a long Your mother whispered after a long time had passed, her voice tiny and timid. Really? You repeated warmly, flashing her a loving smile before holding both of her hands in yours and giving them a sweet squeeze. I wouldn't let him. He knows how much you mean to me. Chapter 24. Traumatic Truth. Well, as long as he's not going to hurt us, Your mother's voice trembled, her response almost inaudible, whilst more tears trickled down her face. As long as you're safe. Oh, Mom. With tears of your own, you brought her into another hug, and felt pain prick at your heart, knowing that if you'd been slightly faster in making your decision, Miguel wouldn't have lost his patience and have taken it on your mother. No, no, you shouldn't think that way. It wasn't your fault. Things just, things just got out of hand. Nothing's going to hurt you. Hurt us. Everything will just be fine from now on. You'll see. But the others, she panicked again, reminding you of how scared she was of Hannibal, Freddie, and Norman. Good thing she doesn't know about Pennywise, Jason, or Billy and Stu's real personalities. Have have they been treating you all right? They're not hurting you now, are they? You haven't been in any pain recently, now have you? Nuh-uh. You softly reassured her, shaking your head with a sympathetic gaze and doing your best to calm her down. So don't worry. They've actually been pretty nice to me so far, believe it or not. Seriously? Your mother gasps in surprise, her eyes glistening with distrust and disbelief. They haven't attacked you or anything? Mom, you called gently, moving backwards a little bit so you could face her full on. I understand why you're scared. Honestly, I do, but you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Why would they ask? Okay, well, maybe not ask, but want me to stay with them if their overall intention was to beat me up? That doesn't make any sense. But Kruger! Her voice rose once more whilst she became frightened again, her fear making you think back to what had happened a second time, which is basically Freddie being an asshole. I know, you sarcastically spoke, rolling your eyes as you released an amused sigh. Believe me, Freddie always acts that way. He's an absolute bastard most of the time. Psychopathic and twisted, an insatiable sadist, unresponsive to reason and deaf to pleas of mercy. He shows very little composure, and is prone to both fits of joy and rage. It doesn't take much to figure that out. Has he has he threatened you as well? Your mother questioned fearfully, her eyes filling up with fright while she started to create the worst possible scenarios. Are you still getting those terrible, terrible nightmares? What? What? Huh? No, I'm fine. I mean, he still enters my dreams 24/7, but and still acts like a child, but most of the time I manage to get some sleep. Why do you ask? Answered truthfully, puzzled by her sudden worry and wondering if Mikawa was the one behind her unexpected anxiety. Is he giving you nightmares too? Well, well, no, but I still don't trust him, she tearfully exclaimed, her tired out face and weary expression managing to show a little more panic. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him just standing there, standing next to you, like he should, like that. He should be dead. He should be in hell where that son of a bitch belongs. Wait, dead? You curiously echoed, intrigued by her frantic words and frustrated remark. Yeah, I get that he's a dream demon and all, but it's not like he's a zombie or anything. No? Your mother replied quietly, a sad smile tugging at her lips before she released an unstable and unforeseen laugh. Well, I suppose you're not entirely wrong there. Mom? Are you okay? Why did you laugh? You asked with a nervous gaze, shifting further away from her on the sofa as you felt your current uneasiness grow. Was it something I said? You want to know who Fred Krueger was? Her voice suddenly filled with both sorrow and spite. Your mother clearly disgusted by not only the dream demon, but his very existence, too. Sure, I guess. However, before she could carry on and inform you, Miguel darkly shook his head, yanking her up by the throat and tossing her to the ground maliciously. Mika, what the fuck? You shouted at him hotly, shoving the stalker to the side so he could swiftly rush towards her. Don't scare her even more, you idiot! Told you they're all trouble, YN. Billy sighed with false regret, folding his arms whilst he leaned against the living room's back wall. Mika coldly glared at the other two males, strangely not giving up by by what he was trying to do, as you did your best to decipher his vicious reaction to your mother's casual question. But what was he trying to do exactly? Why did he not want your mother to expose Freddy's past to you? Mikael, leave her alone, now, you warned him sternly, flashing him a glare of your own while you helped her back up. Though, all you received was another sharp shake to the head. The stubborn slasher clenching his fist and staring down at the floor with underlying frustration, wondering how to go about said subject. What was he supposed to do? He could try and take your mother out of the picture, to protect you that way. But that wouldn't do any good, because he could already see just how much you cared about her. He could try and forcefully drag you back to the main house, but that wouldn't do any good either. One, because he and the other slashers had promised you more visits, and two, because as much as he hated to admit it, he couldn't take on those two imbeciles alone. But, Mikhail shot you a worried stare, obviously trying his best to protect you from what you were about to hear. Despite his swift throw, your mother seemingly irritatingly unfazed, her sole intent now being to explain why she despised the arrogant asshole. God damn it. It wouldn't kill me to know, you decided firmly, giving her a short nod before you both sat back down on the sofa and restarted the ongoing conversation. He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood where I used to live. Your mother began in a flat, emotionless tone, hugging the sides of her arms while she stared at the floor, as she stared at nothing but the carpet. The kids we all knew. The kids multiple parents loved. Oh, Mom. You awkwardly mumbled, not knowing how to react to Freddie's past actions, whilst you felt genuinely bad on her behalf. I'm so sorry. It drove us crazy when we didn't know who it was. But it was even worse when they caught him, she stated seriously, her grasp on her arms tightening while she gritted her teeth. Didn't they put him away? I mean, if he got caught and everything, then surely he'd be handed over to the authorities, wouldn't he? You stammered in surprise, averting your eyes as your awkwardness increased. Well, all the lawyers of Springwood tried their best and the judge got famous. But someone forgot to sign the search warrant in the right place, and Fred Krueger was free. Just like that. Your mother furiously revealed, past rage bubbling like lava when she finished unfolding the truth. But if he's not alive, then how is he able to walk and talk? You quizzed with bewilderment, frowning and switching to a more defensive state of mind. I don't get it. Just what did you do? It wasn't just me, she uncaringly corrected. Her earlier misery fading whilst her current malice towards the dream demon strengthened. A bunch of us parents got together, tracked him down. We found him in an old, abandoned boiler room where he used to take his kids. Go on, you suspiciously demanded, narrowing your eyes after she started to explain what they planned to do back in the day. We took gasoline and poured it all around the place, made a trail of it straight out the door. We lit the whole thing up and watched it burn. That's why he should be dead now. He should be dead now because we all killed him. Chapter 25. Number of events. You did what? You gasped in shock, your mother's words dancing through your thoughts as they forced you to remember back what you've been through beforehand. Are you serious? And basically, their introduction and whatnot. So that's why. You figured out with a frightened expression, fear flooding through your body while your mind replayed those malicious memories. That's why he was so intent on catching me. Because you and the parents of Springwood are all ganged up on him. Because you all took matters into your own hands, and it was Mrs. Thompson's idea. She even took his knives. Your mother tiredly interjected, wiping her eyes from earlier and trying to comfort herself. That's why I despise him. That's why he should be dead. Because he's nothing more than a sociopath. Because he just doesn't care. I'm worried for you, Ryan. I'm scared. I just don't know what I can do for you. I feel so pathetic. I feel so... Mom, stop. You silenced her sternly, your expression softening at her tearful glance and seeing why she'd go along with such a vengeful plan. Please, you are many, many things, but you are not pathetic. I don't think what you and the parents of Springwood did was right. I'm sorry, but I can see what made you and them act that way back then. I can see why you'd snap. Are you still really going to carry on staying there, living with them? She hysterically bursted out, her lack of trust in each and every slasher returning immediately. I, I know you were coursed and all, but Kruger's psychopathic. Hannibal proved that looks can be deceiving, and Mikhail over there is just a straight-up psychopath. You can't say they won't hurt you. You say they won't hurt you, but how can you possibly be sure? I'm not sure, you calmly replied, repeating her panicked words before holding her hands in yours. You're right. There's no way for me to possibly know that, but you're just going to have to accept that I live there now. That place is my home. I'm dating them, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. But please, please don't concern yourself over the choices I've made. I mean, I'll visit you more often. I'll even give you my new phone number when my new phone arrives, if that'll make you happy. Will that cheer you up? Your new phone number? Your mother's eyes widened with surprise, plainly not expecting that response from you. What happened to your old phone? Did something happen? Yeah, that's something that we'd like to know too. Know what we mean, Ryan? Stu added in amusement, shooting you an angelic smile before smirking a few seconds after. After all, you never really told us. Billy wickedly hummed, siding with your mother's bemusement and behaving as though they didn't know why your phone was broken. Don't you two even start, you both know why. You muttered under your breath sharply, embarrassment clouding your cheeks while you quickly remembered what you've done to avoid the previous unwanted admirers. Well, I just, well, you started shyly, having trouble explaining and wondering what on earth, how on earth how to tell her without spilling the truth. It's sort of difficult to describe what happened. I kind of broke it, and then after I had, and ended up not working. But the others offered to buy me a new one, so that's good, isn't it? Of course that's good. I wondered why you stopped texting and calling all of a sudden. That must have been why. Your mother summed up contently, evidently happy that you were all right and that nothing bad had happened to you. I'll give you my new number now, just so we don't forget or anything. Let me go and get my phone real quick. When she left the living room, you breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed, resting your elbows on top of your knees before leaning back against the palms of your hands lightly. Leaning against the palms of your hands lightly. But then you sent Miguel a strict look, irritated by his aggressive attitude from a few minutes ago. Look. You scowled him severely, trying to keep your composure and stay calm. I know that you like to be unusually possessive of me, unnecessarily protective, etc., etc. But throwing my mom to the ground like that was way over the top. He's a complete and utter psycho, Stu commented with dark disgust, giving another shake of his head while watching Billy sit down on the sofa next to you, on the opposite side. What'd you expect? He doesn't really care about anybody, let alone their feelings. Sorry, YN, but I have to agree with Stu on this one. Billy tenderly agreed, sending you a regretful smile of his own whilst he held one of your hands between the both of his. I know you like to see the best in everybody, and I think that's amazing, but sometimes you just gotta have to admit that some people just don't have positive emotions. Mm-hmm. Stu carried on dolefully, sitting on the same side of the sofa that your mother had previously had. You'll just end up getting yourself hurt or stressed out, or something, you know? Hey, that's not entirely true. You fiercely disagreed, disagreeing with them right off the bat after you'd seen Mikhail glare at the others with the utmost of rage. Mikhail does have feelings, just like everybody else does. He just has trouble containing them, that's all. Oh, YN. Billy ended up chuckling slightly, your response evidently amusing him and Stu to some degree. Why must you always act this way? It's so cute. He's certainly not wrong. Stu hummed slyly, wrapping his arm around your waist and hugging you from the side instead of the front or behind. You always act so sweet. It's absolutely adorable. Hey, what are you? I'm back. Sorry it took so long. I forgot that I left my phone in the kitchen instead of my bedroom. Your mother thankfully interrupted, entering the room while she unlocked her phone and passed it over to you. Do you have something you can write the number down with? I'd be more than happy to go grab a pencil and a piece of No, that's okay. You exclaimed with a flustered expression, shoving the two boys to the side before standing up yourself. Mikhail has a notepad and pen I can borrow to copy everything down. Don't you, Mikhail? Begrudgingly. Mikhail dipped his head and deftly nodded, whipping out said items before passing them over to you and allowing you to write your mother's number down on said paper. But, for good measure, you delicately tore the piece of paper off the notepad and tucked it inside your pocket, making sure that Mikhail didn't try anything shady or fishy. There we go. So don't worry, Mom. I'll be sure to message or call you as soon as I've got my new phone. Alright? That sound good? Mm-hmm. She feebly smiled, giving you another hug, flowing with warmth, right after you handed the notepad/pen back to Mikhail. Sounds good to me. Chapter 26. Returning home. Well, it seems we've gotten just about everything under control, you stated with a soft smile of your own. thinking back to the previous subjects and making sure that you hadn't forgotten anything. The visits, the new phone number, everything seems just to be just fine. Anything else on your mind, Mom? Nothing I can think of right now. She spoke unsurely, holding the tip of her chin and thinking as you lightly broke away from the hug. I guess I'm still really worried. I mean, living with multiple unhinged males and keeping up with her studies too. We'll look out for her, Miss Ellen. Billy smoothly butted in, cutting into the conversation before standing up. I promise. Yeah, Stu added with an affectionate tone, mimicking Billy's actions and standing by your side also. We won't let you down. Seriously? Your eyes widened with a stunned expression, not expecting Billy and Stu to go against the other slashers so fearlessly. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Your mother thanked them gratefully, dipping her head as a nod and flashing them both a pleasant smile. Anyway, it looks like it's getting pretty late, so I'd best be going home soon, you quickly interjected, feeling faintly flustered whilst you attempted to stop the embarrassing exchange about your well-being. I know. Why don't we watch the TV? It might distract you a little bit. Oh, I mean, I guess it'll help. Before she could continue, you snatched up the television remote and focused your attention towards the TV screen, flicking it on while you randomly picked a channel. Oh, 7 o'clock news. Oh, whatever. You managed to interrupt the awkward chat about your well-being. Now for the 7 o'clock news break. The news reporter announced in a strict fashion, her firm tone sounding extremely stern and serious for some strange reason. You think I should be watching the 7 o'clock news? Your mother questioned with a bewildered gaze, her face twisting into a frown as you felt your embarrassment increase. Well, what I really meant was what the TV in general, you exclaimed in alarm, trying to explain yourself fully and feel less uncomfortable. Charles Lee Ray, the Lakeshore Strangler, was shot and killed before 3 a.m. this morning, the news reporter notified from the TV gravely. The sudden information causing you to become curious and turn to face the television screen full on. Eddie Caputo, Ray's accomplice, was captured by the police 6 blocks away. Oh, you don't need to hear about that, your mother remarked amusingly, taking the remote from you and flicking to the channel to another one. The only reason it was on the news channel to begin with was because I was a little interested by a certain investigation. A certain investigation? You repeated quizzily, intrigued by her words and almost wishing that she left it on the news channel. That's strange. You usually prefer rom-coms or new fantasy movies. I don't think I've ever seen you follow an actual news case before. Well, true. She lightly laughed, shaking her head at what she'd recently been following. Well, but not really much goes on in this town, and the particular turn of events just so happened to pique my interest. All of a sudden, Mikhail gripped your wrist and used his other hand to point at the living room's window, indicating that it was time to go home and that the other slashers would most likely be growing impatient too. Okay, I get it. You sighed irritably, knowing that if you didn't leave soon, your partners would probably go back on your freedom promise or something of that nature. Uh, I guess you're leaving now then? Your mother mentioned with a miserable smile, doing her best to not dissolve into more tears or cry like she had earlier this evening. It's not forever, you consoled her soothingly, wrapping your arms around her once more and bringing her into another comfortable cuddle. It's just until next time, that's all. How do I know when that is, though? She heartbrokenly asked, hugging you back in return before trembling ever so slightly. I mean, I haven't heard you since you had left. What if the past repeats? What if, Mom, everything will be fine. You calmly responded, sympathizing with her and knowing how hard this goodbye was. We can text more, call more, arrange more visits, catch up more often. I swear, everything is going to be way more peaceful between the both of us. You just have to trust me, okay? Okay. She sighed in despair, agreeing with your reply and stepping back. I trust you. Just be safe, alright? I couldn't bear if something would happen to you. I love you, Ryan. I'll be safe, promise. And I love you too. Mom, I love you too. You replied adoringly, kissing her on the cheek before moving past her and heading towards the front door. After you'd wrapped up said visit, you carefully shut the front door and stepped back into the street. Billy and Stu walking either side of you, whilst you already knew that Mikhail was literally shadowing your footsteps from behind. Not that you minded, however. You were quite used to the silent stalker stalking you persistently. Although, you were still a little unsure about Billy and Stu. It's not like you loathed them or anything. It's just that, in your eyes, they were still a little bit strange. Like, they behaved like normal students when you guys were inside the university, blending in with the crowd despite not having any courses or classes. But when the three of you were just out of the university and alone / closer together, they acted different. It's not like you'd forgotten their true personalities and creepy characteristics. It's just, Ryan? Hey, Ryan, are you okay? Sue's sweet voice snapped you speedily out of your thoughts. You not realizing just how much time had passed while you were, while you'd been walking, and just how long you'd been thinking over things. Jeez, I'm fine, you hurriedly stammered, approaching the main house and wondering how they'd react to the other slashers. Oh God, this could go horribly wrong. Horribly, horribly wrong. Or this could go relatively alright. It all depended on who answered the door tonight. But who would... Oh, Wham. Welcome home. Hannibal's melodic tone greeted you once the door opened. The smartly dressed male standing there with his usual polite smile. I've missed you. Thank fuck it was Hannibal, and not Norman or Pennywise. I've missed you too. You breathed out in relief, dropping your bag from your shoulder and before bringing the psychiatrist into a rushed yet respectful hug. I've missed you too. Oh my. I certainly didn't expect this type of response. Not that I'm against it, however. He chuckled with delicate amusement, a tinge of mischief lining his voice while he wrapped his arms around you, tenderly. So then, how have you been feeling today, Miyamata? Did your visit with your mother go well? It was nice. You shyly smiled, not knowing how to reply properly and also becoming sheepish from the sudden hug, before pulling away a minute or two later. We agreed to catch up on via more visits soon. And she also gave me her phone number again, so we can text and call again, too. Sounds like you had a wonderful time. Hannibal pleasantly noted, his smile still there due to not only the warm-hearted hug, but also how cute he still found you to be. Wait, how did you know about today's visit? You suspiciously inquired, thinking back to your past conversation after Camp Crystal Lake and growing confused. The, the surprise was a secret, you remembered doubtfully, picking your bag up before hoisting it back over your shoulder again. So how did you... Why, dearest, it wasn't that hard to figure out. Hannibal answered you with further amusement, though this time his words seemed more devious and dark. Your psychology classes end around 3:30, do they not? And today's Tuesday, so of course it's only natural that you went to go visit Camp Crystal Lake to pacify Jason. Hold on a second, I don't go just to pacify Jason, you defensively argued, your eyes narrowing due to his hidden insult. Was he trying to pick a fight with you or something? I happen to like visiting, so in the end, your so-called surprise wasn't really that much of a surprise, because on Tuesdays, you usually arrive home around 5, 6-ish, though tonight, you arrived home at 8 p.m. instead. Chapter 27. So much for that. Okay, I get the picture. You huffed with irritation, rolling your eyes and deciding to just ignore his taunting tone. That's how you figured out where I was. I can't see why it matters so much to you, though. Seeing as you were the one who allowed me freedom to visit her in the first, why it matters so much to me. Hannibal slowly repeated, his words causing confusion to flicker across your face and cloud your expression. Oh, Ryan, of course it matters to me. Why wouldn't it? Your safety is everything to me. Whether it be with Voorhees, about, out and about, or merely with your mother. You needn't go that far, you stammered embarrassingly, your cheeks flushing pink while you wondered about how to exactly go about everything. I was just catching up with my mom, and that's it. Really, he murmured in a sweet tone, cradling one of your cheeks with his hand and brushing his thumb as softly as he could over your skin. I mean, it's just that. I just, I thought you wanted to go and visit your mother by yourself. It's sort of a one-person activity, isn't it? Besides, I would have thought that bringing Mikael along might have put a damper on the visit, considering how much suffering and emotional damage he caused her. Hey, he didn't do it out of enjoyment. You sharply snapped, shaking your head as you moved away from him a second time. If anything, he only did it because you and the others probably told him to. So don't try and pin this on Mikael. Didn't do it out of enjoyment. Hannibal quoted mischievously. Amused by your words, Wiltsey found your reaction to be relatively adorable. Does that even really matter? After all, he was the one to torture her in the first place. That doesn't matter. You spoke in a low voice, avoiding his eyes before glancing away awkwardly. It was in the past, and I don't want to remember it anyway. No? So you're just gonna give Mikael a free pass then? Despite him hurting you in such a traumatic and twisted way. That's not what I meant. All I meant was, believe me, I'm not trying to provoke you or create conflict between the two of you. Yeah, that's pretty hard to believe. All I'm saying is that you seem to act extremely more lenient when it comes to Mikael and his previous behavior. Hey, shut up. Stu coldly interrupted, stepping forwards and closer to you. You're making Ryan feel uncomfortable. Yeah, Billy added angrily, clenching his fist while standing by your other side. You're bothering her, so back off already, dickhead. Ah, so you two must be the unwanted admirers that were pursuing poor Ryan just a few days ago. What an unpleasant surprise. Hannibal casually commented, throwing them each a superior smirk and shaking his head slightly at his condescending attitude returned. Excuse me, as his condescending attitude returned. Still, this is all rather amusing, don't you think, darling? Amusing? You stuttered in a shocked voice, panicking internally about what the three of them were arguing about. And why Mika wasn't doing anything? In what way do you mean exactly? Telling me to shut up and to back off? I mean, honestly, how bad-mannered can some people be? At least I'm not the one who plagued Sweet Ryan with poisonous phone calls and ended up physically assaulting her once her psychology classes had finished for the day, now am I? The psychiatrist cooed angelically, pointing out past events and sounding more and more patronizing with every passing second that flew by. At least we didn't force Ryan to live with us. Billy reminded spitefully, engaging in said fight and glaring at him with disgust, or use emotional blackmail towards her. Stu fiercely cut in, gritting his teeth as he threw Hannibal's argument instantly back in his face. So don't try to play all innocent here, dipshit. Play all innocent. What a juvenile response. I don't need to play all innocent. Why would I? Because when you get right down to it, I haven't done anything. The smart male smoothly retorted, leaning against the door frame before crossing his arms. Are you fucking serious? Stu retaliated furiously, disbelief dripping from his tone as he tried to keep his calm. What, do you have fucking amnesia or something, mate? Stu, that's a little... No, I don't believe so. Hannibal commented with a nonchalant voice, looking at them both uncaringly. If anything, I'd expect the local hospital to remind me if I had recently been diagnosed with such a hazardous medical condition. Haven't done anything. Billy insanely laughed, beginning to lose it whilst he started to become unstable. Are you kidding us right now? You and the others were clearly the ones who, if you wish for someone to publicly accuse, I'd personally hold Mikhail responsible. The psychiatrist marked disinterestingly, releasing a bored sigh after he raised his eyebrows. Not me. Why Myers? Stu suspiciously questioned, not trusting Hannibal in the slightest as he flashed the silent stalker a cautious glance instead. Hannibal, I swear to God. You coolly interjected, entering the argument yourself and realizing what he was attempting to do. Mikhail was not the only one accountable here, so don't try and shift the blame entirely onto him. He just did what you and the others ordered him to, so just drop it already. Ordered him to? Mi amor, I don't recall ever ordering one of the others to. Why, Ryan, you're home! Another voice cried out joyously, the owner of said voice bounding towards you and throwing their arms around your body, bringing you into a hug immediately once they greeted you. Norman. Hey, Norman. You feebly smiled, completely at a loss by this point and not knowing current how to fix the current conflict between all of the slashers. How have you been today? Everything okay? Mm-hmm. But I've missed you so much. Norman bursted out lovingly, cuddling tighter into you and resting his head against your shoulder like he usually did. Oh, I missed you too. You softly spoke, tucking your awkwardness under the rug and being kind to the shy male like you always were. Oh, it's good to see you again. What have you been up to? You! Norman shouted suddenly, fury flooding his face while he unexpectedly broke away from the cute embrace and turned towards the front door. What are you two doing here? You guys know each other? You asked blankly, confused by Norman's outburst before swiftly recalling how he knew. Oh, so that's how he knew them. We decided to walk Ryan home, Stu breezily explained, a devilish grin spreading across his face as he noticed Norman's frustration rise. There a problem with that? Of course there's a problem with that! Norman argued with bubbling rage, obviously outraged by Stu's behavior and growing progressively more envious. Well, what's the problem then? Stu inquired flippantly, tilting his head to the side a tiny bit as he awaited for the other male's answer. Well, first of all, that's Mikhail and Pennywise's job. Norman shrieked stubbornly, stomping one foot on the ground against the floor and shaking from raging jealousy. Nobody else is allowed, so you guys don't fit into the equation. Norman, I think you're taking this a little too far. Myers and Pennywise's job. Stu curiously wondered, frowning from bewilderment before sharing a quick look with his friend. She's not a sheep, you know, Billy declared defensively, deciding to interrupt and ignore Norman's words altogether. It's not like she needs herding, so stop treating walking her to and from the university like some sort of twisted job. Second of all, you guys are the unwanted admirers. You guys were the ones who scared Ryan in the first place. Norman yelled venomously, mentioning their past phone calls and beginning to lose it just as much as Billy had earlier. That's why you two don't even deserve to be anywhere near her. Oh, we don't? Billy smirked out of the blue, nudging Stu's side before carrying on. Oh, be careful, Stu. I think we might have some competition here. Well, either that or someone's a bit jealous. That's it! Chapter 28. Your secret's safe with me. Before you could say or do anything, Norman lunged straight towards Billy and tackled him to the ground. Past not only you, but the other slashers as well. Now I'm going to do what Mother told me to, just as soon as I find out who you were. Norman hatefully hissed, holding a pocket knife and gritting his teeth as he started to twitch. Your mother is dead, Billy snapped in return, kneeing Norman before in the chest before rolling over him and taking out a Bowie knife. So how the fuck would she be able to tell you what to do? She speaks to me all the time, Norman denied coldly, his deranged characteristics coming into play while he struggled against Billy's grasp. So get off of me. Speaks to you all the time, huh? Stu mused thoughtfully, mulling over Norman's words and not caring that Billy was about to murder him. Then, where is she, mate? Haven't seen her around recently. I wish they'd choose a better spot to battle each other out, other than the front porch. Hannibal sighed with slight annoyance, rolling his eyes and shaking his head while he also didn't seem really to show any interest. It's like they don't even care about giving away our position anymore. Not to mention, it makes us look bad. Look bad? Look bad? You freaked out in alarm, terrified on both of their behalves. They're about to kill each other. Who cares about looking bad? She's got a point there, Lecter, Stu unexpectedly remarked, an amused grin sliding across his face a second or two afterwards. I don't want to look bad when I get taken out, or if I take somebody else out. I suppose you've got a point. The psychiatrist spoke uncaringly, placing his thumb and forefinger underneath his chin before lifting it up. That would cause problems for myself as well, considering that if anybody were to stumble onto our place of residence sometime soon and discover a couple of random corpses, that certainly wouldn't do us any favors. Why aren't you two doing anything? You fearfully exclaimed, pushing their concerns to the side and attempting to force their attention back towards the ongoing fight. They aren't like Penny or Freddy. They're not supernatural. They're not immortal. I wouldn't worry about it that much, babe. Stu replied soothingly, curling his arm around your waist and trying to comfort you as he flashed you a very sweet smile. I mean, to be honest, Bates was the one that started it. Billy's just finishing it. Miguel? What are your thoughts? You questioned the quiet stalker in a tiny voice, trying to ignore the uncomfortable, controllable heartbeat and faint blush all at the same time. They're not really going to murder each other right now on the front porch. Now are they? The silent male simply shrugged, taking out his trusty notepad and pen so he could scribble down his response. But you knew before he was even done writing what his answer would be. Why should I care? Those two mean nothing to me. My only concern is you. So if anything, this helps me out. Because not only have I never liked them, but I've also never trusted them either. In the end, it's a win-win. That's not the point. I asked what they were planning to do to each other, you angrily retorted, internally snapping and losing the rest of your remaining composure. They both have knives, they both have mental issues, and they both have no idea when to stop. What makes you think you can take me out, you little sissy boy? You heard Billy yell at Norman with a furious tone of voice, now being the one who was about to slit the other male's throat wide open. Oh, please don't make me laugh. Can't make you laugh if you were already a joke. At least I never believed that laughter was the best medicine, because your comebacks aren't even funny. I was just going to kill you. But now that I think about it, I think torturing you first would be funnier. Norman, don't, you hysterically cried, worry washing through your veins before you broke free of Stu's embrace and stepped in the middle of Billy and Norman, afraid of their future reactions. Please, just don't. But he was a dickhead who tackled me to the motherfucking floor. I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't acted like a jerk. God, you're so annoying. You probably make your Happy Meal cry every day. How dare you? Okay. You're interrupted with a fake laugh, trying to hide your anxiety whilst you held your hands up as stop signs. I think that's enough. Don't you guys? I mean, it's getting late. None of us have had any dinner yet. And besides, you two have to feel somewhat tired by now, right? Right? This isn't over, Norman muttered sourly under his breath, his sulky glare staring Billy down as he clenched his knife and debated whether he should continue or not. Just because you got lucky tonight doesn't mean panicking. You clutched Norman by both shoulders before rubbing them gently and doing your best to comfort him and also distract him in the meantime. Hey, let's not stress ourselves too much, he nervously spoke, shooting him a weak smile and shifting his attention onto you instead of Billy. Why don't you calm yourself down by getting a glass of water or juice and wait for me in the dining room? Dinner won't be that long anyway, so try to relax, all right? Wait for you? Norman echoed with a stunned expression, his bitterness fading as he rapidly became excited. You mean that? We'll be eating together? Of course I mean that. We always do, but it won't happen if you stay out here in the cold now, will it? You lightly mentioned, giving him an affectionate kiss on the cheek and trying to soften the mood in general. Can't you at least humor me and head back inside? Yeah, sure. Norman stuttered in a flustered voice, his cheeks flushing a scarlet as he dipped his head and nodded, scurrying back through the front door while he obeyed your request. Phew, what a complete child. Billy huffed pettily, crossing his arms and flicking his head to the side, almost acting almost salty as he tucked his weapon back into his pocket. Where was he even hiding that? You didn't see it when he and Stu were walking you home, or when they were in your mom's house. So where... Billy, Stu, I need to speak to you both for a moment, he declared adamantly, now facing them full on and working up even more false confidence. So, Mikael, Hannibal, please wait for me inside as well, all right? I'll be in there soon. Understood. Try not to catch a cold, though, dearest. Hannibal answered with another one of his polite smiles, raising his hand as a wave before walking into the house and following Norman. Staring at Mikael with determination, you raised your eyebrows and waited for him to leave, your annoyance and agitation increasing whilst a minute passed. Then, finally, the mute stalker disappeared into the house by himself, but you could already tell that he was incredibly displeased. So, what you want to to us about? Something on your mind, honey? Stu hummed mischievously, his personality being insanely different than Billy's. Well, no, not really. Fumbling for words, your sheepish attitude caused Billy to snap straight out of his unstable and unbalanced state, the psychopathic male finding your shy state to be extremely cute. I just wanted to thank you personally. That's all. Thank us personally. Billy struggled for words, his eyes wide as he questioned your remark and he lost his infuriated stance. What for? You were the one who interrupted the fight, so if anything, you were the one who... No, but you two were the ones who planned that surprise visit to catch up with my mom, you warmly pointed out, flashing them both another grateful smile and thanking them a second time. So, in my opinion, that is definitely something to be grateful for. That was really kind of you. Oh, well, no problem. I mean, any time. She really did want to see you, you know. Stu commented in his usual casual fashion, trying to play it off while he crossed his arms and shot you a grin in return. I could see that, believe me. You answered with a half laugh, thinking back to her behavior and how she reacted to finally seeing you. It was fairly obvious how she felt once she opened that door. I'm guessing you're heading back inside now? To cook dinner for the child. Billy spoke darkly, his irritation showing as he clenched his fists and glared at the ground for a third time. Well, I'm mostly cooking for myself because I'm hungry, but shh, don't tell. You playfully replied, placing your forefinger against your lips before throwing them a cheeky wink. Your secret's safe with us. Stu devilishly vowed, sending you a wink back and attempting to be slightly civil despite Billy's coldness. See you guys in the university cafeteria tomorrow? You asked, wanting to calm not only Norman down, but Billy and Stu down also. I know you don't actually take courses there. Oh, whoopsie. But I still don't mind hanging out with you at lunch, you know. Oh, sorry, guys. I know you guys don't actually take courses there, but I still don't mind hanging out with you at lunch, you know. Wouldn't miss hanging out with you for the world. Stu agreed, lovingly, holding your hands in between the both of his and giving you an insanely gentle kiss at the very same time. Just be sure to stay safe and show up tomorrow, okay? I will. Don't worry. You promised in amusement, squeezing his hands back before placing your lips against his politely, too. Hope you and Billy both have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you, Ryan. That's really sweet of you, you know. Billy thanked with an adoring tone, wrapping his arms around you whilst bringing you into a soft-hearted cuddle of his own. Good night, you two. Raising your hand in the air, you sent them a respectful wave, each each a respectful wave, and watched them walk away a few minutes later, breathing out a sigh of relief soon afterwards and wondering inside yourself. Thank goodness. Chapter 29. Free Pass. With reassurance, you headed towards the kitchen and started cooking dinner yourself. Norman hugging you from behind, Mika stalking you from the corner of the room, and Penny also appearing to speak to you. But you weren't annoyed by them wanting to interact with you. In fact, you were pretty used to it, and found their company to be quite fun nowadays. Amused by how they saw the world compared to how you saw the world. You decided to just go with it, especially considering how there was nothing you could do about their mannerisms anyway. So brushing their characteristics under the rug, you carried on cooking dinner, setting on creating a chickpea korma curry last second and enjoying said food in the process, sharing it with Norman, Mikael, and Penny. You sat at the dinner table and ate it while Hannibal ate his own meal, you stifling a yawn once you'd finished. You were going to wash your dishes and scrub the table, but Norman insisted on doing so. The timid male declaring that you shouldn't have to clean up, or that you shouldn't even have to get even more tired after today. Finding his remark to be relatively funny, you let him do so, deciding to head upstairs and switch into your pajamas instead. Doing your teeth, you said goodnight to everybody and slid into bed, Norman scurrying into bed as speedily as possible and cuddling you from behind a second time. You didn't take the hyposil, but in hindsight, you probably should have, because you completely and utterly forgotten how mischievous Freddy could be at times, especially since he just dragged you into the boiler room and mocked you at your fatigued condition. Fan-fucking-tastic. Can't you just leave me alone for 1 minute? You groaned in annoyance, pressing one hand against your forehead whilst rolling your eyes. Let me think about that. Nah. The Dream Demon spoke angelically, shooting you a smug smirk before disappearing and reappearing right in front of you. Too bored. There are things called hobbies, you know? You sarcastically scoffed, stifling a yawn as you shook your head at the very same time. They're tremendously useful, and most people have them. Maybe you should, I don't know, look into them. They may actually stop your boredom, but then they get in the way of spending my time with you, sweetheart. Freddy cooed with a dark grin, snatching up your wrist a second or two after, and tugging you somewhat closer to him. I don't give a flying fuck about personal interest. Why should I? I never have before. I don't care. They're pointless to me. Especially when you're around. Oh, please, give me a break. You dryly commented, raising your eyebrows before sighing in the process. You just enjoyed taunting me with a numerous amount of nightmares. And I don't think that counts as spending time with me, especially when I don't particularly enjoy them. Oh, come on, don't be like that, princess. He hummed wickedly, the cruel male cradling the left side of your face with his gloved hand while also caressing your cheek possessively in the process. After all, I always do save you in the end now, don't I? Besides, you know I always do it Out of love. Yeah, right. As if you'd ever let me have. Excuse me. Yeah, right. You irritably muttered, as if you'd ever let me have a lucid dream, or if you'd ever give me a break and let me sleep in peace for once. Now smirking, Freddie shook his head and used his left hand to curl around your waist, his emerald-colored eyes glinting evilly as you knew what you said was correct. Nah. The devilish male agreed in amusement. No way in hell. Geez, you're such a jerk. You huffed with slight exasperation, your exhaustion catching up with you whilst you suddenly felt somewhat drained for some reason. Honestly, what is wrong with you? The sadistic slasher carried on smirking, finding your words to be ridiculously funny as he used his fingernails to toy with a few strands of your beautifully colored hair. You've asked me that before, sweetheart. He purred psychotically, his smug attitude continuing to aggravate you further and further. But if you really want me to tell you, I can always bullet point each and every problem. Though, despite being asleep in the dream world, you began to feel even more worn out, his antagonizing attitude fading into the background while you wondered what to do. I think I'll pass on that, you mumbled drowsily, catching him off guard as your tiredness washed over you completely and made you fall to your knees. Whoa, what the fuck? Losing his sharp tongue and mocking expression, Freddie's left arm, that was curled around your waist, tightened, preventing your head from hitting the ground while it's also bending down with you. I should be the one asking you what's wrong, bitch. Why don't you try dealing with Mikael and Jason fighting at Camp Crystal Lake? I mean, all I wanted was to walk around the lake. You sighed a second time, trying to ignore just how tired you truly were after your hands weakly grasped his sweater. They fought? Freddie frowned as he questioned your remark, curiosity washing over his face once he picked up on those specific words. Over what? I mean, Myers and Voorhees are usually fucking pansies, so it's weird for them to pick a fight with one another. But then again, if you really want to know, the most pathetic one in the group is probably don't even start. You coldly scolded, your glare intensifying as you knew exactly who he was going to be bringing up, because that's not what we were talking about. They what? He repeated impatiently, slight agitation shining through his tone whilst he continued to make sure you wouldn't collapse. They both grew annoyed because I walked to the lake by myself. You told him truthfully, knowing that at least he wouldn't see the problem. Well, not that much anyway. Oh, and why did you? Freddie aggressively demanded, his mood darkening as his behavior began to show tiny signs of concern. You'd better have a good reason for that, YN. Why do you care? It's not that big of a deal. I've walked to places plenty of times by myself before. You shot back stubbornly, shrugging it off and not seeing the problem. The three of us all had different reasons anyway. I snapped for Mikael, Penny, Billy, Stu, and Hannibal are arguing. Jason's reason was because Mikael entered Camp Crystal Lake without permission, and Mikael's reason was because I stormed off and left the group immediately. That's it? I didn't expect that their fighting would cause you to feel this exhausted. You're not usually this weak. The Dream Demon retorted in a mocking manner, taunting you whilst his malicious mindset returned. Oh, shut up. You retaliated hotly, his teasing striking a nerve and flaming up your frustration once more. It wasn't just that, you know. Mikael throwing my mom to the floor whenever we visited her also made me upset. Not to mention learning about your past, having Hannibal, Mikael, Norman, Billy, and Stu all argue by the front door, and then having to put up with you now. I wouldn't call that weak. Okay, I get it. That's not pathetic. Freddie devilishly chuckled, his concern vanishing as he found your fragile form to be quite cute instead. I get why you're fucking done with today. Seriously. You murmured again softly, your fury fizzling out whilst you cuddled closer into his chest. Having people fight over you almost all of your day. Seeing someone you care about being flung to the floor. Hearing more about what you did in the past. I just don't have enough energy to stay awake right now. I just don't. Whatever. I guess I'll give you a pass for tonight. The demonic male decided firmly, silently enjoying the adorable attention you were giving him, despite his hidden disappointment. I'd grow bored anyway. I don't care. Sure you don't. You smiled teasingly, pink coloring your cheeks as he picked you up bridal style and materialized a duplicated bed similar to yours. Thanks, though. I'm glad you were able to get some. Excuse me, my English. Thanks, though. I'm glad I'm gonna be able to get some actual sleep for once. And with that, you physically passed out, unable to hold on anymore. Chapter 30. Morning Jumpscare. Wyan? Wyan, are you alright? Is everything okay? Still feeling relatively sleepy, your eyes slowly fluttered open, your hands now grasping the covers as you casually came to. Oh, Norman, good morning. You greeted with a weak smile, stifling a yawn once you'd realized who had woken you up. How'd you sleep last night? Never mind that, what's wrong? Norman burst out dramatically, acting weirdly alarmed while you grew confused. What happened? What happened? What do you mean, what happened? I know it was Kruger, wasn't it? What was Kruger? You asked in bewilderment, startled by Norman's sudden explosion and deciding to shift your attention towards Mikhail instead. Did something happen while I was asleep? Fortunately, Mikhail answered you, stepping next to the side of the bed before scribbling down his response. You missed your alarm and look even more tired than usual. Look even more tired than usual. That's why he's all worked up, though. You missing your alarm was fine by me. I got to watch you sleep more, and you're just so beautiful. I love watching you, day or night, anytime, any place. You are my everything. Okay, I got it. You replied sarcastically, raising your eyebrows after handing Miguel's notepad back to him. Thanks for the reminder, but it wasn't anything to do with Freddie, Norman. I was just tired out from yesterday. But you never missed your alarm, Norman stubbornly retorted, hugging you from the side as tightly as he could. I don't believe it. He must have done something to you with this. I'm being 100% honest here. You told him truthfully, your expression twisting into one of annoyance. Yesterday was a lot to handle, and I became exhausted. That's really all there is to it. But are you calling me a liar? You irritably retaliated. Your tiredness making you behave colder than usual while you pushed the covers backwards and swung your legs over to the side of the bed. No, I would never call you a liar, Norman cried aloud, your comment striking a sore spot while he watched you pull away from his hold and stand up. I was just, well, in that case, I'll see you downstairs for breakfast, you casually announced, heading over to your wardrobe and choosing your outfit. All right. He mumbled with defeat, leaving the room so you could get changed alone. Well, Mikhail, you spoke strictly, placing your clothes on top of your bed before spinning around to face the silent slasher. That means you too. I don't want to be watched while getting dressed. But like always, the mute male just stood there, staring at you obsessively, of course. Mikhail, please don't do this. I don't have the time. You groaned in frustration, realizing that if you didn't get dressed and get ready, that you'd be late for uni. Just wait for me outside the door, okay? I promise I'll be done in a couple of minutes. Though again, he didn't leave, Mikhail ignoring your words and taking a step or two closer towards you instead. You were about to raise your voice and reprimand him, but before you could, he curled his arms around you and tugged you into a tremendously tight hug, the killer resting his head on top of yours and therefore enjoying the moment instead of listening to your commands. A sigh escaped your lips as you lightly shook your head, wondering what to do to Michael always being this stubborn. After a few minutes, you eventually pulled away and pointed fiercely towards the door, signaling for the stalker to leave the room and let you get dressed alone. Signaling the stalker... Yeah, I just said that, sorry. It was a 50-50 chance. In all honesty, you weren't sure if it was even going to work. But thankfully it did, with Mikhail lowering his head and unwillingly leaving you in peace. Thank goodness. At least the others hadn't given you any more morning trouble. Well, you didn't know where Penny had disappeared to. Hannibal was far too polite to ignore your demands, and as far as you were concerned, Stu and Billy hadn't broken any rules or trespassed yet. Regardless, you got dressed, brushed your hair, readied yourself for the day, and then headed downstairs, preparing breakfast and sitting down at the table once you'd pleasantly greeted the others. Yay, you always make the best breakfasts, YN. Norman exclaimed happily, clapping his hands together as soon as he thanked you for the usual morning meal. Oh, I don't know about that. I just whip things together and make sure it's edible, you playfully joked, tugging into your food and satisfying your hunger within mere seconds. I'm just relieved that you like it, considering I'm no chef. Well, you may not be classified as a professional culinary artist. Your cooking skills are still nothing to sneeze at, wine dearest. Hannibal commented gently, his charisma and charm entering the conversation while he sat down on the opposite to you to eat his own breakfast. Why would you sneeze at her ability to cook? That doesn't even make any sense. Pennywise remarked with a perplexed fashion, his confused frown making you burst out laughing from uncontrolled amusement. It's just a phrase, Petty. You giggled as you finished eating and stifled another laugh. Just a phrase. Try to remember that. Again, was showing how little he actually knows about human culture. Hannibal sighed with a condescending tone, shaking his head and rolling his eyes in the process. Hannibal, don't start. Your power to provoke others is unparalleled sometimes. Honestly, you brought up tiredly, standing up before taking your dishes over to the sink to wash them. But, like usual, Norman bounced over and begged to wash them for you, causing you to awkwardly agree and thank him. Provoke? My dear, I was merely pointing out a certain flaws of his, that's all. I mean, it's not that difficult to learn more about a person's mannerisms now, is it? The psychiatrist politely pointed out, wrapping his arms around your waist from behind so he could bring you to an immediately sweet embrace. Not knowing human phrases doesn't mean that Penny deserves to be shamed for it. You argued against him defensively, turning around before folding your arms. So I'd appreciate if you'd stop doing so. It's ungentlemanlike. No kidding. Norman childishly chipped in, siding with you and shooting a glare towards Hannibal at the very same time. Not to mention rude. Now feeling slightly irritated, you were about to just walk away and leave your partners to their own devices when a couple of careful knocks sounded at the front door, causing you to jump and making the rest of the slashers become highly suspicious. Who was that? Norman panicked, turning his attention away from the others and towards the empty hallway instead. Whoever they are, they're not a local citizen. Hannibal concluded sternly, pulling out his usual weapon, a pocket knife, and walking into the hallway first. Mikhail moving in front of you in a flash and following soon after. Nobody from town knows about our place of residence. Something's not right here. Whatever. I could take these trespassers out within seconds. Watch me. Pennywise darkly grinned, crossing his arms and leaning against the hallway's wall with arrogance. You might know a lot more about humans than I do, but when it comes to strength, you're shit. Okay, now wait just a minute. You interrupted worriedly, pushing ahead of the four and wondering who it could possibly be. They might not even be a threat. So why don't you guys let me answer it first? And if they are an actual threat, then you can take them out. I don't know. Norman murmured sourly, narrowing his eyes and staring at the door with distrust. This whole thing is really, really weird. I mean, even Mikhail is against your idea. Mikhail is against me doing anything without his approval. You huffed sharply, placing your hand on the doorknob and opening the door without a second thought. So don't assume Mikhail's overprotective attitude is, "Morning, YN. We've been waiting for you." Sorry to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, but I'm gonna leave you guys on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry. Anywho, the official question is, who do you guys think is behind the door? Do you think it's just one person, two people? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Um, to quickly end it with you guys here, because sadly it is very late for me and I'm reading this, and I hope with the audio quality is doing just fine. If you guys have any suggestions of stories or fanfics you would like me to read, and even of your own, please let me know in the comments down below. And for the ones who's already suggested it, yes, I have received it. I'm going through it slowly but surely, and hopefully I will actually get through it and go through what I had with what I had originally planned and whatnot. So hopefully I'll be able to get more fanfics out to you guys soon about how things are going. It's gonna take a hot minute, but hopefully I can get this stuff back on track. But without further ado, sadly your girl's gotta go. But before y'all leave, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button for more amazing videos, guys. I shall see y'all next time. Bye bye.